Hi everyone. I had some thoughts on my mind about being a 60-something-year-old person, in particular, a 60-something-year-old man. This year I turned age 63, and I've been noticing that 60 is a lot different than other ages that I've been. And I figured I would make this video where I would just share with you 10 things I've thought of at the age of 60. Alright, and I'm going to share things I've found out with you. I welcome your opinions, your observations, and anything you have to say. Okay, so I think that being 63, I'm going to be as modest as I can here, but I think for 63 I look pretty good, and I feel pretty good. Nothing's perfect, but could be a lot worse, and I'm kind of superstitious, so I don't want to say too much, too soon, because you never know. All right, number one, the first thing that you notice when you're in your 60s is that you have more time behind you that you've lived than obviously you have in front of you. Now, this is something that I don't mean to be morbid about it or dire or gloomy about it, but it's a fact. You've lived the majority of your life. Now, people say, and it's true, none of us knows how long he has here on this planet. You could die at 5 years old, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100. You don't really know. But what I'm saying is, once you make it, if you're fortunate enough to make it into your 60s, like I did, then you're aware that the road ahead of you is a lot shorter. And that's pretty spooky to me sometimes. I got to be honest with you. I could remember, say, 20 years ago, like it was just yesterday. 20 years seems like only yesterday. And then I think to myself, you mean to tell me in 20 years I'm going to be 83? Really? No way. How am I going to be 83? I don't feel 83. I don't look 83. I don't even believe it. But it's true. And I can remember 20 years ago. I'm making this in the year, 2025. So I remember 2005 just like it was yesterday. That's a spooky thing. So you do become cognizant of how little time you have left. Do the best you can with it, That's why I personally am one of those people who believes in collecting his Social Security at 62. And I was 62 last year, and I did that. I definitely believe in that because tomorrow is promised to no one. And even though you might get a little more money if you wait till you're 63, 4, 5, 67, 70, whatever, that's a lot less of vital years that you have left to enjoy. Well, that's a whole subject on its own, and I made another video if you want to look for that one about that topic of Social Security and when to collect it. It's all a matter of opinion. All right, number two, the thing that I've noticed is that the age of 40, the age of 50, even the age of 55, and even 60 now that I'm 63, are not old. You're not old at 40. You're not old at 50. You're not even old at 55. Even at 60, you're not that old. But, there's no getting around it. I think when you're 60, you start thinking, wow, at least I'm not 70. I remember when I was 50, I thought to myself, well, at least I'm not 60. And I imagine when you're 70, you say to yourself, at least I'm not 80. I guess. I don't know. But I can remember, believe it or not, on my birthday, my 20th birthday, going way back now, I remember feeling old at 20. Can you believe I thought that? I thought to myself, I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm a 20-year-old. I'm not a kid anymore. Stupid. That's the number two. Number three, something that I'm experiencing, and it's part of life, and it's part of getting older, is short-term memory loss. That's the most, I guess out of my list here, that's maybe the most negative thing I have to say. I still have an excellent memory for the past. I could tell you things I did at 3 years old, 5 years old, 10, 18, 20s, I could remember details. I could remember places. I could remember things I thought, things I said. And I could remember what I was looking at. I could remember if I was in a car. I could remember what the street I was on when I thought it. All little details of decades ago. But sometimes I could be doing something like I'm doing right now. I could be in the middle of having a conversation or talking into the camera, And in the back of my head, I think I have to remember to say something. And as I'm speaking, as I'm in the act of speaking, right now in the here and now, I forget what I was going to say seconds ago. That does happen. And I'm not worried about it yet because it's at a normal amount. You know, I think if there's ever a time that comes when it's really out of the ordinary and something to be concerned about, I will be. But right now, I think it's just normal. I think it's normal as an older person in your 60s to forget things in the short term. You know, I'll do that. I mean, kind of regularly. I remember recently I collect movies. Okay, I buy physical media, and I remember I kept thinking, oh, you know, there's this title that I have to get. The next time I'm on Amazon and I make an order, because I order movies on Amazon, the next time I'm on, I got to order this movie. The next time I'm on Amazon, I got to order that movie. Next time I'm on Amazon, that movie that I keep thinking about, I got to order it. Well, the next time I went on Amazon to do a group order of titles, don't you know I forgot it? Couldn't think what it was. Par for the course. Number 4, and I heard about this, but it's true because I'm going through it right now. It's harder to lose weight. Harder to lose weight when you're trying to lose weight when you're in your 60s. No doubt about it. Your metabolism slows down. I'm going through it right now. On my channel here, I do all kinds of videos about weight loss. You can check out my weight loss updates. Now, I'm happy to say that this year I've successfully lost, as of today, this morning, I've lost 36 pounds. So it's possible. But I'm going to tell you that when I was in my 20s and early 30s, when I tried to lose weight, by now I would have lost double what I've lost this time. Because I did try that when I was younger and I was overweight. I did try to lose weight. And in a short period of time, say 3 months, I lost about 70 pounds. Doing even less though than I am now. I wasn't even exercising then. Now I exercise and I do brisk walking and I don't eat any carbs, I don't eat any sugar, and it's still, you know, it's slower. It's coming off, but very slow. Please check my videos out if you're interested in the weight loss videos, because I give you updates and I go through more details of what I'm contending with, and, you know, what I'm eating and everything like that. But yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, number 5, something that I've learned that is very important. You have to keep active. Keep active. You have to do something. For me, it's walking. I'm always walking. I'm always moving around. Some people can't. I realize some people are not able to walk or do a lot of exercise. Do whatever you can do, even if it's from a chair and doing, you know, movement. Do as much movement as you can. That's important. You know, my grandfather, my dear old sweet grandfather, God rest his soul, he lived to be 88. But the last, I don't know, I'm going to say 20 or so years of his life, he had terrible pains and sciatica because he was a person that was very sedentary. He liked lying down on the couch all the time. And when he wasn't lying on the couch, he was sitting watching TV. And when he wasn't doing that, he'd be out on the patio on a beautiful sunny day like this, lying in a lounge chair on the patio. But the man never really moved. So movement is important. I do walking. I keep active. I'm retired now. I retired when I was 60. But I was a mailman. And as a mailman, I had to walk. And I had to get used to moving around. And that helps me now in my... Am I a senior yet, or am I soon to be a senior? My senior years, you know? So please, keep active. It's very important. I really believe in that saying. Use it or lose it. Okay, number 6, I started to realize I don't need as much stuff as I thought I used to need, collecting stuff. Now, on my other channel, it's called Mean Mr. Mayo. Mean Mr. Mayo is a spoof of a Beatles song, Mean Mr. Mustard. But on Mean Mr. Mayo, I share my collections with you. I also have a movie channel called Mr. Cinemayo. It's about cinema collecting. I still collect, and I will always collect. But I found out that I'm very, very discerning, and I don't need as much, I hate to use the word, junk. I say junk, you know, figuratively speaking. I don't believe my collectibles are junk, but I mean, I just find I pass on a lot of things. A lot of things now, I will pass on. I will say, I don't need that. Let it go. Because it makes you wonder. Again, let's say I have 1,000 or more movies in my collection of DVDs and Blu-rays. And I want to watch a movie today. I'll watch that movie, but then I ask myself, when will I see it again? I'm 63 now. I haven't watched the movie since I was 40. I probably watched it when I was 40. It's like 23 years I haven't watched this movie. Do I even have 23 years left to watch it again? Why am I accumulating a whole bunch more stuff that I just don't, even under the best circumstances, have the time left to watch again and again and again and again and again? That's a topic for a whole separate video. But I just find that, although if you know me, you see that I still collect stuff, I still buy stuff, and I always will. It gives me pleasure to collect. But I also am being way more careful, not buying nearly as much as I used to. There's just not enough time. And that's what it comes down to for me, is the time. As I said in the example about how long it's been since I watched a certain movie, or if I have a record album or something, maybe I haven't played the record album in 20 years, and I'm thinking, will I even have 20 years left again? Well, I'm going all on one topic there. That's for a video of its own. Okay, now number 7. This is a little different. I find mature women attractive. I find mature women, older women, more attractive than younger women. Now, what I mean by that is, I'm talking physically, but also mostly personality-wise. And no offense to any of the younger ladies out there. A pretty woman is a pretty woman of any age. But I don't know. I felt like that even when I was 20. When I was 20 years old, even, I found women in their 40s attractive. Older women. And now that I'm 63, I'm not saying that I'm going after women that are at a 90. I'm not saying I'm interested in women that are 90. And plus, I'm already spoken for. I have a girlfriend. But what I'm saying is, for attractiveness and stuff, I find that I always find the oldest women who are stronger. I like strong women who, in a way, are sure of themselves. They have some confidence. Maybe they're women who, have experience. They have experience. I don't just mean experience of that kind of experience, but I mean experience in the world. And what would I have in common? If I was talking to a woman who was, I don't know, young enough to be my granddaughter, or daughter, what would I really have in common? So yeah, I find more than ever that I'm getting more attracted when I see them around to older women. I'm watching TV shows, and I'm thinking, wow, some of these women that were really old looking when I was when I was a child or a teenager, these women are actually looking pretty good at 50 and 60. You know what I mean? All right, that was a little fun. Okay, now number 8. I definitely feel, and you know this if you know me, that I would much rather be 63 today than, say, 13 or 23. I would rather be older in the 21st century today, in the 2020s, than younger, because I think the world is going to hell in a handbasket. I've felt like that now for a long time, since the 1990s. I think things just getting lousy. The 21st century sucks, I think. And I'm grateful to be born when I was born. I'm glad I'm 63 now, not 23 or even 33. Again, no offense to anybody, but it's just my opinion and my feeling. Everybody has different opinions and feelings. And I wouldn't trade with anybody. In fact, I wouldn't even mind in 2025 being 73 instead of 63, because that would mean that I experienced, in my opinion, 10 earlier years of even better times. And when I say better times, I'm speaking predominantly as a person who loves the entertainment, the music, the movies, and television of the early days, 40s, 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, that time. That's how I feel. That's what I mean when I say that. About, I wouldn't even mind being a little older today in that regard. Okay, number 9. It's not good to be alone. Now, I know there are people out there that are alone and they swear by it. There's a lot of men that say, I'm never going to get married. I'll never get married. Now, I was married once. I was together with my ex for about close to 21 years. I've been with a woman now, my girlfriend. I'm not married, but we've been together now for 14 years. We're happy. and I want to keep it that way. But the thing is, it's a matter of opinion. People say, well, some men say, I don't want to be with a woman nagging me and telling me what to do and bossing me around. Well, if that's the case, you're with the wrong woman. If you feel that way, you don't want that, then get the right woman. Don't go with somebody that's going to nag you and boss you around your whole life, okay? There's different women out there. Treat each other equally. Don't you nag and boss her, and don't let her nag and boss you. That's how I feel about that. But it's not good being alone, because as I get older, what I'm really getting at here is, if God forbid you have an emergency, if you collapse, if you pass out, if you faint, if you can't walk, if you're alone, at least if you have somebody with you, they can help you. I had a situation like that 3 years ago, where I had a medical thing happen to me out of nowhere, and quite frankly, it was in the middle of the night, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, if I hadn't been with my partner, my girlfriend, I don't know, I wouldn't be here. That's a little bit serious of a discussion, but I know there's a lot of people out there, some of them even have YouTube channels where they tout how important it is and how cool it is and how better it is to be all alone. It's not for me, folks. Your mileage will vary. Let me know. Number 10, I guess I was trying to think of a big one to close off with, but this is an old cliche, but health is your greatest wealth. Health is everything. Is it literally everything? No. I've always said in my feeling, people say love is everything. And the Beatles, I love the Beatles, and the Beatles said all you need is love. No. All you need is health. Love is important, very important. I just got done talking about that, the one before this, but the whole thing is, if you don't have your health, and I know because I lost my health. When I was in my 20s, at an early age, I was very sick, and I stayed ill for 5 years. And I thought I'd never find the answer, and I thank God I did find the answer, and I had a good life. But the thing is, it was a time when it looked very bleak. And when you don't have your health, it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world. It doesn't matter if you have the best partner in the world. Both of you will starve to death. You can't live on love. They say you can live on love. That's a fun little phrase that people say. We can live on love. Well, you can live on love. No, not really. You need money to eat. You have to eat. You need shelter. In the winter, you need to be warm. In the summer, you need to be cool. You need to have a roof over your head for the rain. You need money. You need a place to live. Money is very important, and good health. But still, I put health at number one because I know from experience, if you don't have your health, if you're not feeling like yourself, if you're not feeling not necessarily great like $1 million, but if you're not feeling like yourself, somewhat healthy and able to be your best self, if you're not yourself, if you're not you, all the money in the world doesn't matter. And you can't even enjoy the partner you're with, whether it's a wife, husband, significant other, it doesn't even matter. It's good to have them, but you don't care. You can't even, it doesn't even penetrate you because, your mind, you can't even feel it because you're so lost to health problems. Well, that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I've stimulated you to think about your situation. Let me know how you feel. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not. There's a lot of things like this where I think about life, talk about health, retirement, dieting, and just sometimes bitch and rant and cuss about how crazy the world is today and how hard it is to cope in today's universe. Thank you all. I enjoyed this.